Yesterday we saw till the 10th verse. Manasak kamamakutim vachas satyamashīmahi pashūnām rūpam annasya mai shrihi shrayatam yashaha. So the five that we saw, starting from Aditya Varne tapasodhi jato vanaspatistava vrukshotha bilvaha. So he's talking about, if you look at the first one, 6, he's talking about the tapas, how through tapas, through Shakti, we get to Shiva. The process of approaching that silence within us is through movement, is through Shakti. It is her grace. There's sufficient tapas. The Agni of tapas has to be generated. The Agni of tapas has to be generated, has to be invoked within us so that we may experience Shiva. A lot of times, all the masters who've attained to realization have come to this understanding. You will always notice they will say that for many lifetimes we have been searching, we have been pursuing truth, we've been trying to understand the truth and the reality, and now we have achieved, or they would have come to a point where the search and the seeking stops. So the seeking will not stop by you stopping it. It's not a stop that you stop because I'm tired of searching. No. It is that Agni that is generated through the tapas, through the searching, through the yearning. When it comes to a fruition, then it automatically rests. There is no more search. There is no more searching because the truth is understood, it's experienced, it is recognized within oneself. But that recognition of the truth cannot happen without you burning the fire of tapas. So the burning of the fire of tapas is important. So the burning of fire of tapas is Shakti. It brings you, it brings you to that final Shivam. So Shakti will bring you to Shiva. So we require movement to come to stillness. We require activity to come to peace. The recognition of peace. You need sound to come to the understanding of silence. So she is tapasodhi jato vanaspatistava vrukshotha bilvaha. So from through tapas, through the tapas, fire of tapas, and bilva, we said bilva is the representation of Trigunas. Triguna is Prakriti. So she will take us from Prakriti. It is like the bilva leaf, how you take it to Shiva. In the same way, Shakti, Mother, will take us to that understanding which is Shivam, which is auspiciousness. Shrihi and Shivam both mean the same. Shivaha and Shrihi both mean auspiciousness. So from there we came to the 10th one where we are saying, Shrayatam, I need to take refuge in you. I do this activity of tapas, I do sadhana, I do nididhyasana, shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, I do this whole, I do all of this, but then I also seek refuge in you. Ashrayatam. Ashraya. Shrayatam means to find refuge. I also find refuge in you. Only when I find refuge in you will this understanding dawn within. We cannot go entirely based on activity. We cannot say that I have done so much, hence I need to receive understanding. Karma can never lead you to jnana. Understand this. Karma cannot lead you to jnana. Karma can do shuddhi. Karma can cleanse you. Karma can cleanse us, but when jnana So what will happen is karma will make way for jnana. It will make way. That is the only way. Nanyaf pantha ayanaya vidyate. There is no other way, proclaims the Purusha Suktam. Nanyaf pantha ayanaya vidyate. So in this, when you do activity, you do tapas, and you also do ashraya. You go for refuge, surrender, dissolution. Oh mother, I am doing all this tapas, but I am also letting go. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि जगदम्बिकायै इति समर्पयामि. I offer it to you. All that I do. So then she rises. Then manasah kamamakutim vacha satyamashi pashunam rupam annasya mai shrihi shrayatam yashah. Greatest glory is received. Then we go to the next one, is kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava kardama shriyam vasaya me kule mataram padmamalini. There are two rishis that are also invoked in this particular Shri Sukta. One is Kardama Rishi, the other is Chiklita. So in this verse you see Kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava kardama shriyam vasaya me kule mataram padmamalini. Next one is Apasrijantu snigdhani chiklita vasame grihe nichadevi mataram shriyam vasaya me kule. So rishis, there are two rishis, Kardama and Chiklita, and both are Devi Upasakas. Both recognize themselves as child of the Divine Mother. The first one, Kardama, also means earth. Sanskritam, the word Kardama is also referred to earth. So here the prayer is Kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava Kardama. So one is a prayer to Rishi Kardama. O Kardama, Kardamena prajabhuta, in the way the earth or Mother Earth, as Mother Earth, you bring all the prajabhuta, sambhava. You bring all the prajabhutas, which means you equally, without discrimination, you are available to everybody. You also come into me. In the same way, come into me without any discrimination, without ignoring all that all Kardama is earth. Chiklita, I don't know what the meaning of Chiklita is in this thing. But here the reference is in this Nama, that is why Kardama appears two times. One is the sage Kardama, that's here, and here is also a reference to earth. So Kardamena, by earth, Prajabhuta, the Praja, you are sustaining. O Mother Earth, you're sustaining in the way you're sustaining everybody without discriminating anyone. See, think about it. Every individual on this earth has a right to be, to exist, to be under the grace of the divine, right? Whether he's an atheist, whether he's a Christian, whether he's a Muslim, whether he is a non-believer, however, few bhashyas of Sri Sukta, three sons of Devi Lakshmi are Kardama, Chiklita and Ananda. Apa is also considered as another son of Devi Lakshmi. Two. See, all of these Devi Upasakas are referred to as sons of Lakshmi or Upasakas of Lakshmi Devi. They consider themselves as sons. So, the way how the earth without discrimination is all inclusive, may I also be inclusive. May I also remain as inclusive. This is one way of looking at this Nama, this line. The other way of looking at it is, if you look at Kardama here also as the sage Kardama, Kardamena Prajabhuta. Kardama, as See, this is the beauty of rishis, right? Anything that they when they have this understanding, anything that they receive, what did they do? I have understood, I have received this in a cholita, they don't go and sit somewhere quietly. They come and give, they share, they spread it. Spread it means not actively spread it. It's not like going and evangelizing. No. But whatever the understanding that is there with them, they want to dump it on whoever is wanting to receive. They want to give. Because they understand that this knowledge is not theirs. They are just becoming a mere instrument. So when knowledge appears to such people, divinity lets knowledge appear or offers knowledge to such people who are able to share it, who are able to give it. So Kardama, for example, Agastya Rishi. Agastya Rishi did this with Lalita Sahasranama, with Lalita Trishati. Whatever he received, he passed it on to humanity. So in the same way, Kardama is also passing it on to humanity. In the same way, may I also receive the knowledge for a higher good. May I also receive knowledge so that it's not just useful for me, not just for my survival, but for the whole of humanity, for everything around me. Bhadram karnebhi shrunayama devaha, bhadram pashyema, bhadram pashyema kshabharya jatraha. So how does the shloka go? Bhadram karnebhi shrunayama. Shrunayama in Sanskritam is used as a, it's not, doesn't say Shrunayami, doesn't say first person, it's just Shrunayama, third plural. It doesn't say singular. May we, Shrunayama devaha, may we listen to beautiful things, may we see beautiful things. Right? So this attitude of we, may we all be healthy, may we all be prosperous, may we all be knowledge, understanding, may we all receive Devi's grace. This attitude is represented by Kardama or any other rishi for that matter. Because when they receive knowledge, they become a channel for also passing on the knowledge. Kardamena prajabhuta, whatever Rishi Kardama has received from mother, he is passed it on to the prajabhuta, to all of humanity. Mai sambhava, may I also receive that. O Kardama, the way you are, O Kardama, the way you are able to appear just a channel, may I also become a channel. When you become, there is a beautiful saying, says, when you become empty like the flute, then you play beautiful like the flute. See, flute, the whole flute has to be empty for air to flow clearly, properly. If it's got muck, if it has got things in it, stuffed up, then you blow what you blow, nothing. Right? எவ்வளவு ஊதினாலும் காத்து மட்டும்தான், காத்து கூட வராது. காத்தே வராது. There'll be nothing will pass through because the flute is filled up with muck. So in that way, we are filled up with all our preconditions, our constraints, our prejudices, our idiosyncrasies. We are filled up with all that. Then how will something flow from us? Flow through us. So for something to flow through us, we have to become empty. We have to cleanse, keep cleansing ourselves, keep making empty. And what sound needs to flow, what music needs to flow will flow. To sound beautiful like the flute, we have to be empty like the flute. Right? So Kardamena Prajabhuta Mai Sambhava Kardama Shriyam Vasaya Me Kule Mataram Padma Malinim. Oh mother, whose mother? Kardama's mother, Lakshmi, who's also my mother. Mother, come and reside in my kula, in my whole family, in my lineage, which means not just me, don't just benefit me, benefit my whole kula. In fact, beautiful thought has occurred when someone takes sannyas. It's said that 7 generations above and 7 generations below are all blessed. There's a huge blessing that goes up and down, above 7 generations and below 7 generations. Because they're taking sannyas with the real, with the Shuddha Sankalpam, with the Shuddha Sankalpam of somebody is taking sannyas. The real intention that I only want Brahman, I only want the truth, nothing else matters to me. That Shuddha Sankalpa, and somebody takes up sannyas and stays in that. When that occurs, then it is said that you cleanse the whole kula. The whole kula is cleansed. And there is a great possibility that kula, there may be more people who will be spiritual aspirants. There's a great a whole possibility and opportunity gets opened up. You may not know. Person who's taken sannyas might have died, but then few generations down, somebody may get really interested in spiritual deep into spirituality, aspire to the highest truth, and then they may take up sannyas. It may happen. So you're opening up possibilities that way. So the idea of doing something, always remember, when we invoke auspiciousness, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your progeny. You're doing it for your pitrus. Both your pitrus and the putra and pautra you're doing. It's not, your focus is not to do that, but remember that you are causing that well-being to occur both upwards and downwards. And the Baba Padathala Kamicha Madri, notice the minister is to visit, right? There is this one particular mantra, he uses the mantra to the Kamala Kalikamba Kovil area to clean up the place and lay new roads, etc. Why does that happen? Because the minister is visiting. In 4 days or whatever, they clean up the place, they lay the roads and do everything. Now, the minister is visiting to come and see Kalikamba. That is the purpose. That's got nothing to do with somebody who's staying in that colony. But imagine the effect that because of the minister coming, look at the impact he is having. He is having beautiful, positive impact. His roads are clean. There are lights, street lights now. This is the impact when you invoke Devi. When you invoke, in whatever form we are invoking her, it instantly sends out waves of well-being and auspiciousness around. People who come visit, people who talk about it, your family, you create an aura and you exude that aura of auspiciousness. And this is important to know why this is important. It's not that I want to do this so that I exude the aura. No, we are not talking about you actively trying to do it. It's important to know, because as much as you can exude auspiciousness, you can also exude wretchedness. You can also exude ill fortune to others. You can also exude that. சில பேர்கிட்ட போனாலே எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் புலமென்றிருப்பா அப்படிம்பா. நம்ம ஒழுங்கா இருந்தாலும் in that presence we will suddenly start feeling low. You'll not know why. இன்னைக்கு காலையில எல்லாம் ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷா தான் வந்தேன். அவன்ட்ட ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம் பேசினேன்னா முடிஞ்சது. You suddenly feel drained. So we should always exude positivity, right? And these are all management statements. Stay positive, be positive. But look at this. This is really what it is. Kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava kardama. Shriyam vasaya me kule. Come and reside in my family, in my lineage, in my kula. Which means whenever I do something, it is impacting the whole lineage that I'm in. This is one way of looking at it. The other way, kula is also representation of your sushumna. Within you, we have the spinal column, right? Devi is also known as Kula Kundalini. Kula Kundalini. So one who resides in the kula, in the whole psychic, in all the psychic centers. Kula Kuharini, Kula Kundalini. So she resides in the kula, in the spine, and you're invoking her and you're saying, Shriyam, Pasaya me kule. In my kula you reside. You stay in my kula. Stay activated in my kula. May I experience you in myself, in my spinal column. Those who are familiar with certain kriyas and yogic practices, you would know that when you breathe, when you do your pranayama, you know there is this movement that goes through the spine. There's the energy that moves up and down the spine. And when you do that, imagine there is Devi, whatever form of Devi you want to consider. Think of her. She is moving up and down and up and down. Maybe she is sitting on a lotus. She's sitting on a tiger. I don't know, however she's sitting, or maybe she's standing. Whichever form that you visualize that she's constantly in your exhalation and in your inhalation. She's moving through the spine. And that is where she lives. Vasaya me kule. Shriyam Mataram. Oh mother, oh auspicious mother, you stay with me in my. So where is Devi? Is she only in the puja room? Is she only in the gulu? Is she only in the temple? No, she is in your kula. She is in your spine. She is in your consciousness. Always sitting there. And then we invoke her from there. Chidagnikunda Sambhuta Devakarya Samudyata. You invoke her from there, and then she stays in your kula. You're asking her to stay in the kula. Mataram Padma Malinim. O mother who sits in the lotus, who is engulfed by lotus, who is covered by lotuses from all over. Which means lotus as a symbol of blossoming of our consciousness. That is the lotus. The lotus, that is the blossoming of my consciousness. Whenever there is an understanding that comes, mother has given that understanding. Devi is given that understanding. And from where? From the kula, from my spinal cord, from my dandam, Meru Dandam. See, there is also a reference made to the spinal column as Meru Dandam. And that is the central axis of our being. And this central axis is only available to amongst vertebrates. It is well developed in human beings. Vertebrates are all the classification of animals who have a spinal column, but it's extremely well developed in human beings. The erect spinal column. This is Meru Dandam. This is also the veil of Muruga. This is also a representation as the veil of Muruga. So Muruga's veil is like the Meru Dandam, and the spear, the spear at the top it comes and meets at the Ajna. So if you look at this whole spear, it's like this: the spear and the Meru Dandam. He holds it like that. So this is where she operates. She's operating in the Meru Dandam, and then you invoke her there and let her stay there. Vasaya me kule. Apasrijantu snigdhani chiklita vasame grihe. The next one is apasrijantu snigdhani. Now, apaha is water, the element of water. The element of water, we have discussed this. The element of water also represents the element of compassion, love, kindness, karuna, daya, all of this within us. It arises within us. Understanding, ability to listen to others, ability to feel included, inclusive, not excluding anybody. I like someone I don't like, it's fine. People who don't match with our energies, it's okay to stay at a distance. It's not a bad thing. But then don't generate hatred, do not generate hard feelings against them. Because remember, somebody else loves them. See, there is no single human being in this world who's not loved by anybody. Right? There is no such. If you think there is such a person, then we are unfortunate. There is no such person. There is somebody who is loved by someone. If he's all by himself, at least a dog will come and be around with that person. So there is no such person, which means if there is somebody else who's able to shower love and show care and be compassionate to this individual, then why can't I be? We don't have to go out of our way to do something, but then at least be open to the fact that it doesn't work out, but I don't want to generate hate, animosity, or any hard feelings. This is where we generate inclusivity. We become inclusive. Like the water. The water flows, and wherever it wants, it will just flow. As long as there is a bit of potential difference that is there, it will flow. Apasrijantu snigdhani chiklita vasame grihe. Now Chiklita, the rishi, is invoked here. The way Chiklita, so Kardama is the rishi who's invoked as one who has become an instrument of Mahalakshmi, son of Mahalakshmi, or the instrument of Mahalakshmi to spread this understanding and knowledge of Devi. And Chiklita is one who represents so if you look at one as activity, as somebody who's going out into the world, the other Chiklita look at as somebody who's inclusive, who is like the water, the moistness, the element of moistness. There's another word for moist that was used earlier, right? Ardram. Beautiful. Ardram Yakarani. It'll come further down actually. Ardram Pushkaranim Pushtim. So here Chiklita is a rishi who is representative of that kind of an experience that he brings. Nicha Devi Mataram Shriyam Vasaya Me Kule. So may Devi reside in my kula, within me, or in my lineage, or the people I come in contact with. See, in those times, in earlier times, kula was extremely important. Lineage was extremely important because there was very little mixing that was happening. Right? If you live in a village, you would have lived in that village for as generations. You would have lived in that village, in that township. Generations you've lived. Migrating and moving elsewhere was a rare thing. But now you'll have to look at kula as anybody or everybody who's, and usually in a village, usually people will belong to a similar kula, the same kula, right? But now it's not like that. Now it is mixed all over. Right? You will not actually, if you look at it, if you it said if you trace back, you're looking for a girl for a boy, and if you really trace back, there may be some connection and they may turn out to be a relative of each other. And it's so hard to figure that out, right? And you'll never know. Because it's all so mixed up. So it's hard to, you'll never be able to find somebody who's completely distant that way. So what is your kula then? What is your, what is the extent of your kula? So here your kula is the whole Manava kula, Manushya kula, Prajabhuta, all living beings. Like in Buddhism, they say sentient beings, all sentient beings. May all sentient beings be blessed and experience joy and happiness. So in that kula, we're now invoking Chiklita Rishi and seeking his blessings, saying that may we be like you, O Chiklita. So as Kardama, may we share what we receive. Like Chiklita, may we be inclusive like you. Right? Like Kardama, may we be able to be open to everybody to share what we have. My knowledge, my energy, my understanding, my time. Let me be able to be open and share with the world, with humanity. And like Chiklita, may I be kind, may I be considerate, may I be understanding, may I develop that inner strength. Apasrijantu snigdhani Chiklita vasame grihe. Like how, oh mother, you've resided in Chiklita's house, the way you have come and resided. Come and reside, Vasaya me kule, come and reside within me. Ardram pushkarinim pushtim pingalam padmamalinim chandram hiranmayim lakshmim jatavedom avaha. Ardram yahkarinim yashtim suvarnam hemamalinim suryam hiranmayim lakshmim jatavedom avaha. These two shlokas, we should look at them together, two verses, because if you look at, they're very similar. Ardram pushkarinim pushtim pingalam padmamalinim. The next one is Ardram yahkarinim yashtim suvarnam hemamalinim. Okay, so if you look at the first line here and the first line here, Ardram yahkarinim yashtim, Ardram pushkarinim pushtim. So this line talks about nourishment. Pushtim, Pingalam, Padmamalini. This talks about nourishment. This talks about Karinim, activity. So if you notice, Ardram, Pushkarinim, Pushtim, Pingalam, Padmamalinim. So mother in the form of nourisher, may you nourish me. You nourish me within me. Sorry, running out of battery. So you nourish me within me with your grace. Nourish Pushkarinim, like how the she is referred to as Pushkarinim Padmamalinim, right? Which means in the lotus pond, how she, so Devi is visualized here in the lotus pond, sitting on the lotus. Padmamalinim, surrounded by lotus in the pond. And how you nourish. See, the lotus requires very little in terms of nourishment, right? It requires very little in terms of nourishment. It's there in the water. It will be like muddy water, right? That is why it's that lotus blossoms almost anywhere. Lotus can blossom almost anywhere. All you require, which means we can also blossom almost anywhere, which means all we require is the intention and grace. You make up your mind that for me, my blossoming is the most important thing. The blossoming will happen. She will enable that blossoming to occur. How? Because she is Padma Malinim and she is in this lotus pond. And how a lotus blossoms in the lotus pond, she will blossom within us. but she will also nourish us. So she nourishes us, which means this spiritual energy that you generate within requires nourishment from within. Where is this nourishment going to come? The nourishment that we get from outside is required, but for the basics, for basic survival. What you eat, what you drink, what you draw as energy from somebody, from your family, from your loved ones, all of this is your nourishment. At work, you're getting acknowledgement. This is all nourishment that you receive. But this is limited. This nourishment is limited. You're getting it from the outside. But the nourishment that comes from the inside is the nourishment that she offers. So what she does is, in this line, she's offering you nourishment. And then in this line, she is giving you the power and experience to go and act in the world. So we have to look at these two namas or verses in conjunction. Ardram Pushkarinim Pushtim, Ardram Yahkarinim Yashtim, which means she is one who also enables you to act. I was watching some interview the other day about, I probably mentioned this somewhere. I think it's good to repeat also if it's already been said. Ranjit, what's his name? Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh. So somebody is giving an explanation about Ranveer Singh. And he's saying Ranveer Singh is always, those who have seen this actor Ranveer Singh, is extremely energetic, very vibrant kind of a guy, right? But then Karan Johar was saying, I think Karan Johar in some interview was mentioning, but Ranveer Singh is not always like that. He appears, see, if you think about Ranveer Singh, you'll say this is a restless guy. He's always like jumping, doing this, doing that, and all that. Very vibrant kind of a person. But he says that is his performance face. The face that he shows to the world when he comes in front of the camera, when he comes onto the stage, that's the face that he shows. But you actually go and see Ranveer Singh as a person he says he's extremely centered. He's very centered and very composed within himself. So even in the set, he'll say that he will be with himself. He will be centered within himself. But when it's act, he has to go and act. He will become like this vibrant guy. So Karan Johar says it's almost like he's conserving and replenishing energy within so that he can go and do full blast. And I felt it's a very beautiful thing, right? It's a very beautiful thing to effectively use the resources that you have. You conserve it within you, you replenish it within you, you be with yourself. Pushkarinim Pushtim, you nourish it. And then you do Karinim, you go and act. Ardram Yakarinim Yashtim. So you go and act. So this way, we constantly, and this is a cycle that will constantly go within us. It is important to be centered, resolve within yourself, and then go and act. Resolve within yourself and then go and act. Both of these activities are important. You have to be within yourself, find that samadhi, samadhihi, find that balance of intellect and mind within. Go into samadhi within yourself, and then when it's a moment to act, go and act. எப்போத்தாலும் ஒரு ஃபிஜிட்டியா இருந்துட்டு என்னமோன்னு பண்ணணும், right? That is also, that extreme is also not good. Because you don't know, a lot of people don't know how to sit quiet. You have to keep doing something. ஏதாவது ஒன்று பண்ணி ஆகணும் வாழ்க்கையில. பண்ணலைன்னா there's something missing அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு there's this anxiety that will kill them. At the same time, the other extremes are what to do. Anyways, things are happening. What am I going to நான் பண்ணி ஏதாவது மாற போறதா? அந்த இடத்துல வேதாந்தம் வந்து பிரமாதமா பேசுவா. புத்தர் என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காரு அங்க யூஸ் பண்ணுவா அதெல்லாம். இவர் என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காரு? சும்மா இரு அப்படின்னு. சும்மா இரு. தாய்மானவர் என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காரு? சும்மா இருன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காரா இல்லையா? So the problem is that we either go to this extreme or go to the other extreme, that you have to do something, keep doing something so that you feel relevant, so that you feel meaningful, so that you think you are purposeful. Or you go into this, what is the point? There's no point in doing anything. We resign. We shouldn't resign. We should resolve. There's a big difference between resigning and resolving. Resigning is you're giving up. Resolving is you're going into your center. Finding some resolution within. So that resolution within is important. And that creates this energy. I'd like to talk about one particular, in this context, talk about one particular tantric devi that we usually, I don't know if you noticed in the Golu, we've got the Dashavataras and we've got the Dasamahavidyas. So in that one Dasamahavidya, I don't know if you're familiar, is called Chinnamasta. Okay. Chinnamasta symbol is very powerful. It is a very powerful symbol, and it is it's not easy to show it to kids. It's hard to understand because it looks very gory. So Chinnamasta, the image is she's got no head. So she's chopped off her head. She's holding her head in one hand. Okay. There's blood flowing from the neck part. And there are two other deities who are drinking that blood. And then this head that she is holding is drinking one blood. So there are three streams of blood coming from her neck. One stream is feeding this head that she's chopped off and is holding. The other two streams are feeding two other deities or two other forms that are standing besides. So there's a neighbor, there's a child who comes from the neighborhood. So she is asking, what is this Devi? Because suddenly it looks like something out of place. All other Devis are like human form, Devi sitting. But suddenly this one Devi seems very strange. What's happening here? So, the simple explanation that I gave to her is that it is representation that your joy comes from within you. Your joy comes from within you. So which means if you want to be happy, the happiness comes from within you. If you want to be blissful, that comes from within you, right? But if you go slightly next level of the next layer of depth in that, it's a very beautiful symbol to show really how these three, if you notice the streams that come out, you can look at it as the Ida, Pingala and the Sushumna, the three streams that are flowing out, the three nadis that are activated. The head that you're holding is your own head. You've chopped it off, which means where is our ego residing today? I go to deep sleep, there is no ego there. There is no ahankara. There is only avidya. There is ignorance, but there's no ego. And what happens when I'm sleeping? This is shut off. My brain, my mind is shut off, right? So when I have to show that I'm chopping off my ego, I chop off my head. Right? And this head I'm holding in my hand, ego is no more there. And when ego is not there, there is this joy that wells up from within. And she's standing on a couple, okay? She's standing on a couple who are copulating. She's standing on, which means she's standing on desire. She's overcome desire. She's overcome desire. She's standing on it. And she's holding her head, which is ego. The ego has been cut off. And the joy that comes out, you are consuming your own joy. So one stream is consumed by this head, which means you are consuming your own joy. This Ananda Lahari that is coming, you are enjoying that. And you're also giving it to two other people, which means you're also giving it to others. Right? So this experience...
Yes, spreading the joy.
Spreading the joy. So when you look at Chinnamasta, the next time the image, look up, it's a beautiful imagery of this whole idea. But it looks a little, ayyo, அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும் பார்க்கிறதுக்கு. But then how do you symbolize this whole idea? It's very beautifully symbolized. You chop off the head, which means your ego is not there anymore. Then whatever joy that flows, you are consuming that joy and you're also giving it to others. You're spreading it to others. And then how is that happening? When you win over desire, you're standing on desire. You've won over it. Which means you're winning over these constant Kshut Pipasa Malam. Kshut Pipasa Malam Jeshtham Alakshmim Nashayamyam. I am getting over this constant hunger, this constant thirst, these impurities that I carry. I'm winning over that. Stand over that. I don't carry this individual identity of this ego, and this joy that wells upon, that will well within me. I consume the same joy. I'm sitting in my own Shivoham. That is the Shiva state, the state of Shiva. You're just in your own bliss. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame. You're in your Rama state. Rama means Yaha Ramati Saha Rama, the one who is established in himself. He is Rama. So you're in that established state. Then you enjoy that jhana and you're also spilling it over to others. Right? So that is so now these two namas represent that. You are pushtim, you energize, you nourish yourself. Ardram pushkarinim pushtim, pingalam padmamalinim. Ardram yakkarinim yashtim. Then you go and act. Suvarnam hemamalinim. Like this bright Suvarna, the bright golden sun, in that form you go and act in the world. Then the first one is Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha. The next one is Suryam Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Ma'avaha. So when you're nourishing, the nourishment comes from the centeredness, the resolution, that is Chandram. You're inclusive, you're going within. That is the activity of the Chandra, the moon. We rest at night, right? We sleep at night. We are day beings. We are not nocturnal beings. We sleep at night. We get fully rested. We recharge ourselves. And then the next morning, Suryam Hiranmayim Lakshmim. At night, we are Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim. In the day, we are Suryam Hiranmayim Lakshmim. And this day and night can be invoked within us all the time. Give me another 5 minutes. We'll close it. I know we are running over. So another 5 minutes. Just one more shloka. Okay. So Pushkarinim Pushtim. How does nourishment happen? When you invoke the Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim, the Lakshmi who is the form of Chandra, who is the form of the moon, who is form of this nourisher, you go rest within it. And then Ardram Yakkarinim Yashtim Suryam Hiranmayim Lakshmim. So now you are invoking the Lakshmi, which is the Surya, which is the effulgent Surya, for activity. Because you need Surya's energy for activity, you need Chandra's energy to rest. So rest and activity, both. Very important. Okay, it's extremely important to recognize this and practice this also on an ongoing basis. Whenever we go into activity, we should remember we should rest. We should try to center ourselves and then go into activity. During activity, whenever we find ourselves too disturbed, too restless, take a moment. Wherever we are, doesn't matter whether we are in the middle of a meeting, whether in the middle of a discussion, we're in the middle of an activity, something that we're doing. Always find that center. Take a moment. Pull yourself aside. It's okay. Find that center. Of course, அதுக்காக அடுப்புல வந்து வச்சிட்டு தீய வச்சிட்டு அப்போ நான் சென்டர் தேடுறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்க கூடாது. நம்ம பண்ற அடுப்புல தீஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கு. ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருங்க. We should also be sensible. Is the first verse of Ida and the second of Pingala. In fact, it's mentioned Pingala in the first verse and the second. But you're right. From that context of the Ida, which is the Chandra Nadi, and Pingala, which is the Surya Nadi, this would represent the Ida, and the second one would represent the Pingala.
Actually, இங்க சொல்லும்போது இங்க அனுஷம்லாம் சொல்லும்போது
மாத்தி சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல,
சொல்லுவா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சந்திராம் சொல்லிட்டு அப்புறம்
Correct. first Suryam Chalva, then Chandra.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சூரியம் சொல்லுவா. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சூரியம் சொல்லுவா.
Correct. So அது சில
அப்புறம் சொல்லிட்டு அப்புறமா தான் இது ஆரம்பிப்பா இல்லையா? ஆர்திராம் புஷ்கரிணியும் புஷ்டிம் பிங்களாம் பத்மமாலினியும் ஆர்திராம் எக்கரிணியும் எஷ்டியும் அது முடிச்ச அப்புறமா தான் இது வருமா?
ஆக்சுவலி எப்படின்னா ஆர்திராம் புஷ்கரணியும் புஷ்டிம் சுவர்ணாம் ஹேமமாலினி, அப்புறம் சூர்யாம் ஹிரண்மயம் லக்ஷ்மியின் ஜாதகம் சொல்லிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆர்திராம் யஹ்கரணின் யஷ்டிம் பிங்கலாம் பத்மமாலினியும் அப்படின்னு இங்க சொல்லுவா. இந்த
அத நான் அந்த ஒரு இது பார்த்திருக்கேன். ஆமா, I've seen that version of it also. அதனால தான் நிறைய கன்ஃபியூஷன் இருக்கும் அதுல, because there are different versions of this, following the version that my guru has given, and this in a way it kind of, one second, so in a way it kind of makes sense, but either ways we look at it, the idea of pushtim and karinim is important. The idea of Chandra and Surya is important. So you go resolve within and you act. You resolve within and act. Find that center within and go and act in the world. Okay. Those are the two verses. Then the next one, the last one is Tam Avaha. So now I'm invoking this Lakshmi, who I have described so far in the last 14 verses. This Lakshmi, Tam Ma'avaha Jatavedo, Lakshmi Anapagamini. So we've got an Anapagamini in our session today. Shri Anapagamini irkare. So Anapagamini means do not go away. The Lakshmi that does not go away. The Shri Anapagamini means Shri that doesn't go away. Right? Should be careful. We shouldn't say Alakshmi Anapagamini. Should say Lakshmi Anapagamini or Shri Anapagamini. So
மீட்டிங்
சாரி சொல்ல மியூட் பண்ண.
இல்ல அலக்ஷ்மின்னு சொல்ல வேண்டாம்னு இல்லை, இன்வைட்டிங் அலக்ஷ்மின்ற.
ஆமா. So we have to here we are invoking this Lakshmi who has been described above, and we want her to stay. Why we want her to stay? Because by her staying only she can keep Alakshmi away. We are specifically saying don't go away. You know why? Because nature abhors vacuum. Have you heard this phrase? Nature abhors vacuum. Nature does not like vacuum. If you create vacuum, something will come and fill it. See, why are we given these whole codes of dharma? We have to do this, we have to do this, the nitya anushtanam, the anusandhanam that we do daily, all of that. Why is it all given to us? Is because the Shastras know that if I don't give, you will keep doing something. என்னமோ ஒன்று பண்ணிட்டு இருப்போம் நம்ம, கரெக்டா? சும்மா இருக்க மாட்டோம். We'll keep doing something. The Shastras say, anyways, you're going to keep doing something, do these things so that it will be beneficial for you and people around. So in that way, nature does not like vacuum. If you leave anything vacuum, something will come and fill it. So if you don't hold on to Lakshmi, then Alakshmi will come. You don't have to invite, you don't have to call. She will come because you've created vacuum there. You've not held on. She's if the first few verses we saw how we call her and we invoke her, but we say, please stay, please stay, please stay. Drive away everything else, but you please stay. Management la, sometimes organization la, when there is large attrition, they bring in one particular senior MD just to drive away people. They will create a position. They'll bring a very senior executive like a managing director or someone, because இருக்கிறவாளுக்கு அவளை தள்ளுறதுக்கு துப்பு இருக்காது. They would have been working with them for 30 years, 25, 30 years, and they'll find it difficult to go and tell them that, sorry, please, you have to leave. We are cutting down. So they'll bring this, and then you go and ask this guy, say, what to do? Management direction. So they'll bring. So like that, if you need to drive away, you'll have to bring her in. If you want to drive away all of this Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Lakshmim Anapagaminim. Tam Avaha Jatavedo Lakshmim Anapagaminim. Don't go away, please. Stay with me. Yasyam Hiranyam Prabhutam, by whose grace and glory and fame, what do I receive? Gavaha Dasyaha Ashwan Vindeyam Purushan Aham. So what do I get? Gavaha, prosperity. Cattle means prosperity, wealth, well-being. Dasyaha means people who will support me, who will be with me, support me. These days, it doesn't mean servants. Servants mean subjects. If you are a king, you will have subjects. You will have subjects who listen to you, who follow you, follow your guidance. Now, Dasyaha would mean there are people around who don't create obstacles for you, who are supportive in whatever your endeavor is. If you're wanting to sit and meditate, people around should allow you to meditate, right? சும்மா சும்மா போய் கதவு மூடிட்டு உட்காந்துரு அப்படி அப்படின்னு திட்டின்னு இருந்தா எங்க போறது? ஸோ அது மாதிரி நீங்க வந்து ஆபீஸ் கால் பண்றீங்களோ இல்ல ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸோட அரட்டை அடிக்கிறீங்களோ இல்ல தியானம் பண்றீங்களோ யாருக்கு தெரியும்?
பரபிரம்மமா உட்காந்துருந்தா போய் யார் காய்கறி வாங்கிட்டு வருது?
ஆமா, பிரம்மனா வாங்கிட்டு ஒரு காய்கறி. So your environment should allow you. So Dasyaha, give me a supporting structure that allows me to pursue my knowledge. Ashwan, give me the ability to be. Ashwan is strength, Vairagya, vigor. See, horses are always representation of strength, valor. And you need strength. You need strength to withstand the obstacles that come during your spiritual journey. Varun, in our spiritual journey, a lot of it will come, but you have to withstand. See, in a war, in those days, the most that get damaged are the animals, the horses and the elephants. Imagine the elephant's body is so huge, the arrows will miss the soldiers, but pavam adu yaaniki padumla. Right? I aim at the guy, the Maharathi sitting on top of the elephant, and he will duck down, but the Yana is not going to move or duck. It's going to be there. So he'll escape, but the Yana may possibly get the brunt of the arrows. So the horse has to withstand. Ashwan, give me the power of the horses that I am able to withstand any obstacle that comes. I don't drop on my resolve. I don't come down on my resolve. The horse is one animal that does not sit down and sleep. It always stands and sleeps. Give me the power of that kind of resolve. Ninninde thungum. It will stand and sleep. It is always alert. Not restless. Not restless. It is always alert. You make you tame. I mean, you take care of the horse. You do all of that. Prepare it for the war, but it won't worry if you're not taking it for the war. It will not get restless. நான் 20 வருஷமா நான் இதையே கொள்ளு சாப்பிட்டுட்டே இருக்கேன். ஒரு சண்டைக்கு அழிச்சுன்னு போகல. ஒரு சண்டைக்கு அழிச்சுன்னு போய் நானும் கொஞ்சம் காமிப்பேன்ல அப்படின்னு. So it is not restless, but it is there with the resolve. Right? So like that, Ashwan, Vindeyam, Purushan Aham. Purusha, in this case, you can look at this progeny. Bring this Shriyam, bring this auspiciousness, bring this glory, bring all this to my Kula, to my progeny. Progeny means not just the people that are born to me, to people who I disseminate this understanding, to people who I'm engaging with, I'm sharing with, the people with whom I move. Your family is defined with the people who are around you today, right? So with all that, and also may I pass it on to the next generation. May the next generation look up to me and feel blessed. இவாளும் இருந்து வாழ்ந்துட்டு போனாலே அப்படின்னு இல்லாம Because of them, I have been able to receive these blessings. With this grace that I am receiving is because my elders have lived a very beautiful and an auspicious life. May I stand as an example for them, Purushan, for all the generations to come. So with that, so the last 5 we'll just chant once and we'll close today. Kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava kardama Shriyam vasaya me kule mataram padma malinim Apasrajantu snigdhani chiklita vasame grihe Nicha devim mataram shriyam vasaya me kule Ardram pushkarinim pushtim pingalam padma malinim Chandram hiranmayim lakshmim jata vedo maavaha Ardram yahkarinim yashtim suvarnam he mamalinim Suryam hiranmayim lakshmim jata vedo maavaha Tam maavaha jata vedo lakshmi manapagaminim Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam gavo dasyoshvan Vindeyam purushanaham Om Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhava Karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami Sadashivayeti samarpayami jagadambikayeti samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sat Gurubhyo Namah. Beautiful. Have a wonderful Navaratri and an excellent Vijayadasami. May we be victorious in all our endeavors, be it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, importantly spiritual. Right? We'll see next week. சரியா?
ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் குருஜி. எங்களை வந்து இந்த ஸ்ரீசுக்தத்தை கொண்டு வந்து இன்னைக்கு உபதேசம் பண்ணி எங்களுக்கு இந்த நவராத்திரி வந்து ரொம்ப நிறைவுபடுத்து. ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் குருஜி.
ரொம்ப அழகான இட்ஸ் பியூட்டிஃபுல் ஒர்க். ஐ ஹோப் வி கண்டினியூ. ஒரே ஒரு வேர்ஸ் பாக்கி இருக்கு, அது நாளைக்கு மார்னிங் அனுப்பிச்சிடுறேன். அண்ட் தென் வித் தட் ரிப்போர்ட் நடக்கலாம். சரியா?
It was a very good lecture.
Thank you very much, Mama. Thank you.